Today on the channel, it's another best of 2023 top 10 countdown. As today we're counting down my top 10 miscellaneous wrestling figures of 2023.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Here and welcome back to the channel for another best of 2023 top 10 countdown. In today's top 10 video, we're counting down my top 10 miscellaneous wrestling figures of 2023. Now, when I say miscellaneous, basically we're talking nothing WWE Mattel, nothing AEW Jazzwares. We're talking all points in between. So we're talking Boss Fight, we're talking Power Town, Major Bendy's, Big Rubber Guys, things like that. And there is no retro figures on this list, as I will be doing a separate top 10 retro figures of 2023. So this is pretty much everything that doesn't fall into the Mattel, the Jazzwares, and the retro category. Everything else is up fair game in this very video. And of course, we're going to start at number 10, work our way to number 1, with number 1 being the best. And of course, once again, as I always say, this is my list. Put your list in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. That's the hard part, but that is the fun part. So without further ado, let's kick it off at number 10. We kick off the countdown at number 10 for a toy line that just debuted, and a toy line that has more figures to come anytime now here. And this one really stole a lot of hearts and pulled on a lot of mid-90s nostalgia heartstrings there, myself included. I didn't have this on my bingo card that we were going to get figures like this here in 2023, but 2023, like every year, is a crazy year. And coming in at number 10, from Figure Collections, we got the Bone Crushers Atom Bomb. And of course, we got a variant in blue, but I'm going the traditional Atom Bomb colors on this one. Very cool to get Bone Crunchers in 2023, and even cooler to get the quality we got here. These are a good quality figure, and we've heard these were announced, saw the pictures and stuff. Okay, I like how they look, I see what's going on here, but how are they going to feel? Are they going to give us that Bone Cruncher feel? And I think this is as close to the real thing. It's like being in the ring, really, at the end of the day. Very, very close to the original details. Very fun to have these. Now, the price points are pretty high. They're not turning and burning as fast as maybe some would like. For me, it's okay. I'd like just a couple of releases a year, honestly, because I got a lot of lines I'm collecting, but that could just be me. But Bone Cruncher, Bone Crusher, Bone Cruncher, completists out there, people that love that line, they probably want more of these figures. And we do Macho Man's right around the corner, Sonny Ono, Ultimo Dragon right around the corner. But this Atom Bomb should never have been as good as it was, and a very, very cool figure, a very, very fun figure, and that's why it makes the list at number 10. The number 9 spot here is one of the first wrestling figures we unboxed for 2023 here on the channel, and this was a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. This was also a figure that had a regular version and a Chase variant version. For this countdown here, coming in at number 9, we're talking about the regular version. We're talking about a Storm Collectibles figure. We're talking about Manoro Suzuki is what we're talking about here. An absolute legend in wrestling. And of course, I go even back before he was in wrestling, back to the Pancrase days. I'm an old school Pancrase fan from when I was like 6th, 7th grade back in the day. Of course, Ken Shamrock stole my heart in UFC #1. Had to go back and figure out everything else. And then I got into the Boss Rutens of the world and Suzuki, dabbling right in there and still competing. We see him on AEW fairly regularly, and I think he was just on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view a week or so ago as well. So a guy still with some gas in the tank, and Storm Collectibles, a ton of gas in the tank, as they do some of my favorite wrestling figures. I always look at these and I always say, man, what if they could make a Road Warriors? What if they could make a Legion of Doom? What if they could make an Ultimate Warrior? Oh, steal my heart. That'd be number 1 next year if that happened. But this is a very cool figure here. The towel, of course. Plain Jane, but a guy like Suzuki's got so much personality. His face sculpt carries this whole thing. And a very controversial one in a reason I'll talk about, but he does have a removable tongue. So you can have the tongue out, tongue in. It's controversial to me because I lost this tongue on 2 different occasions from the table to my light box. Can you imagine, and just imagine, close your eyes and imagine it, trying to find this tongue in carpet? Unbelievable. I don't know how I ever found them. There was one that was lost for like 3 days, and I thought I was totally lost, and I kept retracing my steps where I could have possibly went. Oh, I just want to glue it in there, but I can't do that either. But very cool to have that removable tongue. As dangerous as it is, but very, very nice. All the extra hands, all the extra bells and whistles. Storm Collectibles really need to make more wrestling figures. We got a new one from Ringside, El Desperado, coming here in a month or so. So that'll be another must-have pickup. But man, those Hogans, the Ligers, so many good figures over the years from Storm Collectibles. And Suzuki right in that top of that list as well. Coming in at number 9. Number 8, possibly the most controversial wrestling line of the last couple of years, and honestly one of my favorite wrestling lines. I've had a lot of fun with them on the channel over the last year or so, but man, they are putting out stuff that speaks to my heart. Things that I want, dare I say, a modern day classic superstars. That's what this company is bringing. That company, of course, is Power Town, and we got more Power Towns in 2024 to come, it looks like, as they just recently announced a repaint of this character. And who are we talking about? It is the modern day warrior. It is Kerry Von Erich coming in at number 8. Now, love the Von Erichs as a little kid, and then Texas Tornado, of course, in the WWF. So to get Kerry Von Erich in Series 1, a major coup, if you ask me. Power Town figures, absolutely phenomenal. Love what they're doing here. Just minor gripes on the packaging. Minor gripes with the hands, maybe a little bit small, fall off a little easy. Feet could be a little bit bigger, but besides that, almost perfect figures at this point. Just an all-time figure here. Happy to get Kerry Von Erich figures here in 2023. Hopefully we get more outside of the Diamond exclusive one they just announced here. Would love to see more Von Erichs from Power Town line. Just a very cool figure is this Kerry Von Erich. And like I said, longtime fans like myself, so cool to get a Kerry Von Erich figure in 2023. And that's why old Kerry, the modern day warrior, comes in at number 8. Next up, we've hit the number 7 spot, and the number 7 spot comes from the first line of a brand new wrestling figure company here in 2023. What is it? Well, it is the Asylum, and it is All-Star Series 1, and we're taking it back to old school Road Warriors. Now, I'm cheating a little bit here, as I have 2 figures here, but I'm going to include Hawk and Animal as one here at the number 7 spot. They are the same figure, everything except for the heads are different, so you see where I'm going with that one. But anytime you release a Legion of Doom Road Warriors figure, it is very exciting, and we do not get enough of these guys in action figure form. There's no doubt about it. So to get these 2 here, just awesome. Awesome to get them here at the very end of 2023. I know some people are a little disappointed about this line because they don't quite match up with the superstars, and it's a tough one because, you know, you want to have everything in kind of a same universe, but this isn't Mattel. This is a different toy line. They have their own vision, for good or for bad. It is their vision, and they want to go a little bit different than the superstars line, and we'll see how that works out for them as 2023 finishes up and we move into 2024. But man, anytime I get some new Legion of Doom figures, some new Road Warriors figures, some big dudes with spikes and face paint, man, I'm here for that, and that's why these 2 come in at number 7. Getting dangerously close to the halfway spot, but we're at number 6. And number 6, once again, we return to the Power Town Ultras Series 1 toy line, and we go to a guy, once again, very underrepresented in action figures, but finally getting him here in Power Town Series 1. Hopefully we see some more in the future. We're going to Stan the Lariat Hansen at number 6. Absolutely do love the get up here, love the cowboy hat, the title belt, came with the bull rope and cowbell. A lot of Stan Hansen hits being played right here. Got the old hook 'em horns going on. Or is he a Dio fan? Could be both, but a fabulous figure here. And once again, just like Kerry, a few things, little small hands fall off a little too easy. Boots could be a little bit bigger, peg holes would be nice, but even looking past all that stuff, there is no doubt this is a great figure from a guy that we just have not had enough figures for, so getting this feels very, very special, and that's why Stan Hansen Power Town Ultras Series 1 comes in at number 6. We've hit the halfway point. Make sure you put your list in the comments down below. And today, here we are at number 5, the halfway point. And the number 5 figure comes once again from another toy line that debuted in 2023. And this toy line really bringing it back to my childhood and really fixing some wrongs from my childhood, which I really do appreciate here. Coming at number 5, from Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Major Bendy's Big Rubber Guys line, the number 5 spot is Smash. Now, I'm not putting Axe and Smash, as I do like the Axe figure. I actually might like the Axe figure just a little bit better because they're both equally good. Axe stands better than Smash. Smash has a hard time standing, as we see, so that's going to put him just a little bit below Axe for me. But what brings him way above Axe for me is we never got a Smash in the LJN style figures. So now, after so many years, that wrong is finally being righted. The ship is finally sailing the right way, and we get a fabulous looking Smash. And of course, Axe Smash both with the removable helmet adds so much to these figures. So happy they have this. I wish I could buy an extra just of the helmet to put on my LJN Smash, or my LJN Axe, I should say. Have him holding it or have it on him. I think that would be really cool. But just an absolute game changer. And that's crazy to say, but it really is. I mean, as a little kid, there was a few instances of that, of course, in the LJN line, and Smash being one, especially a kid loving face paint, tag teams, all that kind of stuff. Man, you wanted Smash. Well, many, many years, better late than never, Smash finally in our hands here, and that's why he's coming in at number 5 in the top 10 list. Getting closer and closer to the finish line, and now we're at the number 4 spot. And number 4, once again, we venture over to Power Town. We go to Ultras Series 1, and this one probably a lot higher for me than maybe a lot of people. Who are we talking about? Well, we're talking about old Luth, the hooker himself. Luth coming in at number 4 in my top 10 miscellaneous wrestling figures of 2023. Now, why Luth so high on this? Well, we've never had a Luth figure. And me growing up a kid in the 80s, especially watching NWA tapes, watching WCW, Luth was a name that was brought up all the time. He was almost the Babe Ruth of wrestling. He was still alive at this point. He actually wrestled his last match in the 90s, but he was kind of the Babe Ruth of wrestling. Like when I was a little kid collecting baseball cards, my dad would talk, oh, Babe Ruth was his big thing. That was the big legend when he was a kid. So it's like one of those generational type things, and that's what Luth was, maybe still is for some, in the wrestling headspace. So his name always traveled well. You heard about the Ric Flairs, the Luthezes, of course the Terry Funks, the great champions of yesteryear and current year in Terry Funk and Ric Flair's case when I was a kid. But Luth carried a lot with him there. Even without seeing his matches, without even seeing him, he carried a lot. You knew the name Luth. And then, fast forward many years later, the Luth Hall of Fame was opened up in Iowa. And I've been very fortunate to be a big part of that for the last, 20 plus years, I think at this point. I've missed a couple of them. I had to miss last year because San Diego Comic-Con, but they have a huge induction weekend every single year up in Waterloo, Iowa, of course, the home of the NWA. It is definitely worth going to. I've already marked my calendar out. I will be there this year in Waterloo. It is going to be an exciting show. I, of course, get a peek under the tent to know all the shenanigans that are going down, and man, it's going to be an all-timer of a show if all the stars do align like they're supposed to. You never know. But there's going to be some big stuff happening there. I will be there, like I said. Good friends of the channel will be coming with me, so stay tuned more on that. Make your plans now for July. We can all hang out. We can all do some stuff. Who knows? We'll all go on a big toy hunt together. We'll see what happens. But mark your calendars in July for the Luth Hall of Fame induction ceremony, wrestling show, meet and greet, Hall of Fame tour. There's a lot going on. Be there or be square, as one may say. But the Luth figure, so cool to have this represented in action figures because such a big name, as I did say. So Luth coming in extra hot at number 4. Down to the final 3, and the number 3 spot is another new toy line. I think we got our first series of this maybe at the tail end of last year, but this is one that had a lot of excitement for a lot of people. This is a figure, a character, a performer, a wrestler that dates back to WCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, into the WWE, and all points in between. Of course, who are we talking about? Good friend of the channel. I even met him one time. We're talking about the Ultimo Dragon boss fight. And this is even boss fight's basic line is what this Ultimo Dragon is. but man, he pairs well with your elites, would go great on the WCW shelf, but he is so toyetic, and he is such a popular performer from the Monday Night Wars era. Just a great, great representation of this figure, and I believe we got more deluxe Ultimo Dragons coming in 2024, and then we also have the figure collection Bone Cruncher coming in 2024. So if you're an Ultimo Dragon fan, your future's so bright, you might have to wear shades. You might have to do that, who knows. But this is an absolute fabulous figure. So happy to get this in my collection. When I close my eyes and I think of Ultimo Dragon, this is exactly the color scheme. This is what I think of. Just happy to have this in a collection. That's why it comes in at number 3 in the top 10 list. We're at the number 2 spot, and we're seeing a little bit of a theme right here. At the number 2 spot, we're going back to Boss Fight Studios. One of the most toyetic figures of all time, and I saw this and put my hands on it for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con. I was blown away then. I was blown away at the unboxing. I'm blown away now. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about a masked wrestler. We're talking about a hairy bipedal creature. We're talking about Black Taurus, an amazing figure here. Now, I'm not even the biggest Black Taurus fan in the world, but man, I know a good figure when I see it, and this is absolutely awesome. I absolutely love the looks of this. A big bull, just a mean-looking figure here is what this looks like. I love the hairy boots. I love the Eternia waistband going on, the championship belt here. Of course, the big head with the red in there and the black and then the contacts in the eyes. They just nailed this thing. And I've heard from other collectors that I don't buy wrestling figures, but I got this to put with my Mythic Legions. I bought 4 of these guys as background guys with Mythic Legions and things like that. That definitely works here. So a versatile figure, but a cool showstopper figure. I always talk about figures when you walk by and see a bunch. Some catch your eye. This is one of those eye-catching figures. There's no doubt about it. That's why he's coming in at number 2 in the top 10 best of 2023 miscellaneous wrestling figures list. That only leaves one left. What is it going to be? Stay tuned. We've arrived at the number 1 spot. My number 1 miscellaneous wrestling figure of 2023. And this one was one it took me a little bit to warm up to. And then it seems like after I got out of the package, it's been on the fronter of my display. I walk by it every single day, and it really has grown on me. It does have some challenges like its brethren in this very list. But the number 1 figure, of course, coming to us once again from Powertown Ultra Series 1. The number 1 miscellaneous wrestling figure of 2023 for me, Powertown Bruiser Brody. Now, the legend of Bruiser Brody loomed very large in young childhood Kyle's mind. Images and stuff, of course, the magazines, things like that. I didn't get to see a lot of him on TV. He just wasn't in my area. Of course, WCW, WWE, tail end of NWA, a little USWA, things like that. He just didn't cross around there. It was more when I got into high school and started doing tape tradings that the legend of Bruiser Brody really hit home. Of course, one of wrestling's greatest tragedies, as we do know as well. And one of those guys, what if? What if he would have started off in ECW when ECW began? What would have happened with a legend like him, a brawler, a crazy guy like him in ECW? Where that would have went? What if he would have went to WWE, WWF, WCW back in the day? A lot of unanswered questions. But Bruiser Brody, outside of Jack's Classic Superstars, and a few little other smaller lines, never really got the due he deserved until Powertown in 2023. Now, a little darker red on the forehead than I would have liked, but I can look past that. Once again, a little small in the hands. Hands fall off a little too easy for me. Shoes could be a little bit bigger, but besides those little nitpicky things, man, just absolutely next level brawler that is Bruiser Brody. You get the chain, you got the board, the extra hands, just a lot to like about something like this. And it's so cool to get these kind of figures for an adult collector here in 2023. As I said before, I am very excited for what 2024 offers for Powertown. I'm very excited for Ultra Series 2. I hope we get them very soon, and hopefully pre-orders for Series 3 come in 2024 as well. I'm excited about the Remco line. I didn't have those on my bucket list to be as good as they look so far. I'm very excited to hopefully have some of those on my best of countdown next year as well. But Bruiser Brody taking this top spot for me at number 1 in my miscellaneous wrestling figures of 2023 list. So there it is. Do you got your list together though? As I always say, put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel, as we got videos every single day, including a ton of best of the year countdown lists that we're doing right now. So make sure you check those videos out on the channel as well. And of course, don't forget about Patreon, your best way to support the channel and all the content it brings. ProWrestlingTees.com, pick up a t-shirt, support the channel. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Bruiser Brody and the rest of the list, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.